This episode is brought to you by the good humans at Babylon Burning. Babylon Burning is a 50-year-old legacy screen printing business located in the heart of San Francisco's South of Market district. They specialize in high-quality, custom screen printing that's built to last. For 5 decades, they've been putting ink to fabric, working hands-on with beloved SF institutions like Rainbow Grocery, the Balboa Theater, and the SF MoMA to produce custom merchandise people love to wear, collect, and proudly show off. 2026 marks 50 years of keeping this well-oiled machine running strong. Babylon Burning is truly a shop that's been keeping San Francisco weird, loud, and well-dressed since day one.
I would say that recently, every time I cross the Bay Bridge and every single billboard that I see is not just about AI, but it's written in a language specifically designed to shut out the rest of the world and make it as inhuman as possible, scares the living shit out of me.
That was Alexandra, author of the new book Unsung Heroines, 35 Women Who Changed the Bay Area. I'm Jeff, and this is Storied San Francisco, a show about the artists, activists, and working people who make this city so special. In this episode, hear about Ray's life back when she was really digging her heels in San Francisco. We go through various jobs and places she's lived, and arrived at her getting a job at KQED and writing the series of essays that eventually became her new book. You can find Unsung Heroines in your favorite Bay Area independent bookstore. Here's Alexandra.
So that was the funnest period of San Francisco because there were no rules.
Yeah.
Until 2010, there were no rules.
Yeah. So like late aughts, 10. Yeah.
Do you remember Delirium had a secret
the backroom.
Secret room.
Oh, of course.
For smoking, yeah.
Yeah.
And cocaine.
I've also, some listeners might know that this is very not me, but I'll share a quick story. Probably, I'm going to just guess 04. That's just spitball.
'Twas a good year.
Yeah, and I ended up in a dance party in the back of then Delirium, now Albion. Right? Same place?
Yeah.
Yeah. I ended up in the back room at a party. I honestly, I was only drunk out of my mind. No, nothing else. Just making out with a stranger on the dance floor. Yeah. That's so not me.
I mean, why not?
But it hasn't been me. At that point in my life,
I mean, obviously you shouldn't because you're married.
I was already 30. Like, it had not been...
Oh, no, sir.
What is it, Arrested Development or something? Yeah.
Yes, but that's the point of San Francisco.
And that's
why San Francisco is such a joy, because nobody is... Everyone gets to their jobs, right? We had rules in my house where it's like, you don't pass out at the bar, you get yourself home, you get yourself to work. Like,
just base rules.
Like, as long as you can do those 3 things, no one's going to judge how much you are drinking.
Right.
Because you're still taking care of your shit. You pay your bills on time.
Important.
Done.
Especially rent.
Yes.
Yeah.
But everything else is fine.
Well, that room on that night, it existed for that reason, so that I could make out with a stranger.
Yeah.
And then have that box checked, and then I move on.
I was in Parkside last week, and I was, I know.
This comes out before the end, so...
Yeah, I'm also going to Parkside later, so it'll be twice in 1 week, because that's how I live my life.
Good.
But I was telling our KQED intern, I was trying to tell her backstories about Parkside because she's writing a story about it, so I'm trying to give her all of the things. So while we were in there, I was like, you see that window there? That's like a backstage room, but it's also where I've been while a lot of nefarious things were happening.
Yeah.
And then...
that you can't print.
That I can, and that I'm not going to go into details about, but then Malia, wonderful Malia, the
She's
owner,
been on the podcast.
would come in and find us and be like, get the fuck out!
Yeah.
Like, she.
She's mom.
For a long time, I thought she hated me, but we have a very good relationship. She's just like, no, I'm just trying to keep my business open.
One of my favorite humans.
She's amazing.
The best.
She's a legend.
Yeah.
She's a legend.
And I was like, if Malia can't save the Parkside, no one can save the Parkside.
No.
Yeah.
And can I tell you, this is my favorite Malia thing that ever happened. I had gone to Potrero Center and I had locked my bicycle to a bench, and the key broke off in the lock. And I was trying to figure out, like, what the hell am I going to do about this? And I was stood there, like, stressing with a friend of mine. And Malia drives past in her pickup truck. And she goes, "Hey, what you doing?" And I explained the situation. She goes, "Give me 5 minutes. Find an extension cord." And I was like, "Okay." Right?
But
So she leaves. I go there used to be a photography store. So I go into the photography store. "Do you have an extension cord?" They're like, "How long?" And I'm like, "As long as you got," right? So they gave us an extension cord. She comes back. And she is electric sawing
the lock
off my bicycle in the middle of the daytime. I was like, I'm a straight woman and I might be in love with you. She's a goddess.
Yeah, I get it 100%.
Yeah, she's amazing.
That's true, she is. Okay, so back to early SF days. So I'll just say, you mentioned off mic, it took some time for you to actually get is it green card, legal, social security number.
Yeah, the social security number is everything.
Anything else in those 7 years that you want to talk about before we move on?
I would say that during that period, working for a very big magazine in the UK I look back on that time gratefully, because those jobs don't exist anymore.
Right.
And it was kind of the last gasp of the music industry having money to make your job really fun.
Right.
So even when I lived in London, on a monthly basis, I'd be flown to New York or LA to go interview a band, or Vegas or whatever. Sometimes Texas, sometimes Utah. But I look back on it now and I think, God, I was so lucky to have that, because those jobs don't exist anymore. And that was also a very wild time and a very no rules time, which was good and bad. The bad part is that whole industry was incredibly misogynistic. And
was?
I don't have to live in it anymore, so
good.
I can't pass judgment. But there was, the magazine that I worked for had 30 writers, and in terms of women, it was me and one other woman.
Right.
And you get the wrong editor who comes in, and me and the other woman aren't working for 2 years because he's not going to work with women. And the industry was very sexist. Like, I would show up to do stories. I remember showing up to getting on a train, going to Manchester or somewhere in the north of England, and getting to the bus and knocking on the bus door, and the tour manager opening the door, and I'm like, "I'm Ray from Kerrang," and he went, "Oh," and I went, "What?" And he goes, "Well, we were expecting a man." And I said, "Okay, and he said, "Well, we don't let girls on the bus." And I said, "I'm not a girl, I'm a journalist. Do you want the story or do you not want the story? Because I'm quite happy to get back on my train and have you not have the 3-page story, but you better fucking figure it out." And so then he closes the door, and then there's 5 minutes, then there's 10 minutes, then he comes back and he goes, "I guess it's okay." Like, that's the kind of shit that I was dealing with.
I'm mad at myself for being surprised.
It was...
But also, this is it's 2000s. It's the 21st fucking century.
Yeah.
And we literally have misogynistic, sexist segregation is what he wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
like, you're not on the bus. You're not allowed on the bus.
And on top of that, there was another band who, if I told you who it was, you would not be surprised. But
I know who it is.
Having a very... I already think you do. But having a very open conversation where one of them was basically talking about sexually assaulting someone. And I was there going... But it was also a time period where I'm freelance. If I start pushing back, if I start trying to do anything about any of this, I don't have any money coming in. So then you're kind of stuck going, I'm witnessing all of this horror and not being able to do anything about it. And it felt really fucking filthy. Yeah. And I did not feel good about my life. And I think one of the reasons I had to write a feminist book at some point was to make up for my years of doing that job. Because it's still on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Woo. And people have said you should write a book about that, and I'm like, do you understand how many lawsuits I would have to deal with?
I think you wrote the perfect antidote book.
Yeah.
For what you just described.
Because the grossest bands are the most litigious.
Right. Yeah, funny how those things go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the whole industry, like top down.
Oh, yeah, horrendous. And it becomes normal after a while.
Of course.
So managing to get out of that was, it was a long process, but whenever anyone wants me to write about music now, even within KQED, I'm always like, I don't want to. And everyone's like, well, but you're really good at it. You should just, because you do it so fast and it's like, it's good. And I'm like, because I did it for a long time, but I still have like a visceral reaction to being asked to write about music because it just made me feel so horrible at a certain point.
Literal PTSD.
Yes. Yeah.
And people like, it's a too soon. Yeah, too soon.
Yeah.
Maybe never.
Yeah, I would like to stay out of all of it.
This is, I think, we can talk about your life, 17 years, but also just looking at where we are with time, like, do we want to talk about anything else before we get to the book?
We can talk about the book. We had to get there at some point.
I think this might be mildly interesting for listeners to know that the way that this all came about, Stacy from City Lights Publishing reached out to me about your book and pitched me. I was like, I do read all my pitches. I usually hit delete, but this one I was like, oh, fuck, okay, City Lights, great. And then the subject matter, and then the person, and I was like, okay, this sounds awesome. This originally was going to be a much shorter bonus episode only about the book. Mm-hmm. And by the time I finished it the other night, which I know you know this already, but my listeners don't, I was like, no. I need to have Ray on for a full-ass feature episode. I want people to know about you.
I appreciate that because also I was the one who said to Stacy, like, can you hit up Storied SF, please?
Oh, cute. You saw us somewhere.
Yeah.
That's fun. No, but I mean, I had many takeaways from reading the book, but that night, a couple nights ago, that was my immediate knee-jerk reaction was like, I need to meet this, what we're going to meet. Like, I want to talk about more than the book. Mm-hmm. And I think that speaks to probably the process of writing it, like what you took into writing it is your life and your experience. And that's interesting to me. So...
Well, the other thing that I would say is that because I grew up in the UK, I thought history was incredibly dull because I'm a Welsh teenage girl and all anyone's talking to me about are kings and queens of England from, 1500 years ago, and I don't give a shit. So I dropped history as early as I possibly could.
Okay.
And then it was only being so obsessed with San Francisco and going, I wonder why that's there, and that I started looking at history. And San Francisco is the reason I love history, because if I was still in the UK, I'd be like, blah, 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 king, blah, 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 fucking whatever. Like, I just never cared.
What about Emperor Norton? He's our royalty.
Emperor Norton was an asshole.
Total piece of shit.
Like, people don't seem to understand that Emperor Norton was an asshole. And there's that whole myth about Emperor Norton had the dogs, Bummer and Lazarus.
Yeah,
and it's
right.
like, but he didn't. Bummer and Lazarus was street dogs. And because Emperor Norton was so pompous, the local newspapers would draw him with the street dogs to try and, like, denigrate him. So they weren't his dogs, but this myth has carried on, like... Oh, they were his dogs. No, they weren't. Emperor Norton didn't give a fuck about those dogs.
Interesting. Well, yeah. I'm glad I only call the bar Booze Land.
Yes.
At this point.
Yeah. And also there's a sign up in the bar that says, don't call it Frisco.
Yeah, not cool.
Like,
yeah, you guys,
no,
come on.
Don't call it San Fran. Call it Frisco. Frisco is the acceptable one. San Fran's the one that makes all of our skin crawl.
Why are we only meeting now?
I don't know.
Thank you, though.
Because I got into my 40s and started drinking less, maybe.
Yay. Oh, yeah. But not totally not drinking.
I mean, obviously not. Don't be insane. I'm Welsh.
What the hell, though? You wrote a book about 35.
Yes.
Consulting my notes here.
Yes.
Like, besides... Okay, it might be obvious for some people, but what was it for you that was like, I need to do this? I
was working at KQED, I started freelancing for KQED in 2016, and then in 2017 they were like, do you want to just come in the office 20 hours a week? And I was like, as a struggling freelancer, yes please. And so I was writing about pop culture and only pop culture. And then after, like, I'd been there for a year or something, and I was finding myself being insufferable in bars and to strangers about the fact that women had been written out of history. And I think this was based on, in 2018, some information came out about the fact that there were basically no statues of women in San Francisco. There's something like 87 statues of men, and there's like 4 of women. And that was the year that came out. And I think that's the thing that made me motivated and insufferable. And
the spark plug.
Yeah, after a few weeks of being insufferable, I was like, wait a second, I am still a journalist. I can do this. And that was a steep learning curve because I'd only ever written about music and pop culture before. So I persuaded my editor to let me do 5 essays for Women's History Month 2018. And I did those, and those were quite popular. And then the rest of KQED, which is more sensible than the department I was working for, which was KQED Pop, which was like fun pop culture things, was like, you should keep doing this. But my editor wasn't very into it, so I would do it sporadically. And then in 2019, KQED Pop went away. I got moved into arts, the more sensible department. Like a lot more sensible. And so I was like,
sensible?
No, like
just
genuinely
actually,
sensible.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, oh, I gotta up my game. Like, these people are grown-ups. Okay.
Right.
And so I started doing it more regularly then. And then in 2020, I decided in my wisdom, as of January 2020, I'm gonna turn this into a monthly thing. I'm gonna be really consistent about this. I think it's really important. People were responding well to it. And I also, at that point, was just really wanted to find the women and have the space to find the women because I was fascinated by all of them. And I was like, how many more are hiding?
When you say this, it's writing essays about these Bay Area historical figures.
So the original series was called Rebel Girls from Bay Area History. And
Bikini Kill reference?
100%.
100%, yeah.
If I'd known it was going to be a book, I would not have called it that. We obviously have not called the final book that because it's confusing with the Bikini Kill song, and it's confusing because there's already a bunch of books called Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls, so it's already been done. So we changed it to Unsung Heroines. But January 2020, I was like, okay, that's it. I'm hunkering down, I'm doing it. And then, of course, March 2020, all the libraries closed.
Yeah, what happened?
My timing was perfect. It was great. Oh, good. I'm alone in the world with this now.
Yes.
God bless oral histories on library websites.
Yes.
That was very, very helpful to me when the libraries were closed.
More than just the San Francisco library. Was it other libraries?
Yes.
Do you want to give shout-outs?
This
podcast loves libraries.
My favorite, the single most important place to this book, hands down, is the SF History Center, because I can go into the SF History Center on the 6th floor of the library, and even if they don't have anything about the woman that I'm researching, they can tell me exactly where it is.
Right.
So they're always the first port of call. I also want to give a shout out to the California Historical Society because it's not there anymore, and I desperately miss it.
It was on like Howard Street. Am I totally crazy?
I think it was on Mission and 4th.
Mission is, yeah.
Yeah, but it was
one block.
It was down. Yeah.
It was.
Don't want to be pedantic or anything.
Yeah,
but
I am GPS. I'm like fucking close.
Yeah, close enough.
But California History.
California History Center had an amazing librarian who helped me with a lot of stuff and showed me some amazing court documents from the 1860s, and amazing woman. And then she had to move back to Australia because she had family health things happening. And then when she left, they never got another librarian in. And so I wasn't able to access that information, and I was very frustrated. And then they just closed the whole building. But those two at the beginning were like my guiding lights.
Okay.
For sure, yeah.
Was it a question of, as you're doing the research and maybe even starting the writing, did anyone not make it in the final version?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
I mean, so the original series
Cutting room floor, apocryphal shit.
The original series has 55 women in it.
Amazing.
And City Lights landed on 35. They were like, that's a good size. We're trying to make it digestible for the teens and the kids and whatever. So didn't want it to be a massive tome. And also they were like, we also want teens to read it, so we're going to have to remove the more risque ladies and the ones doing the illegal activities. And so it got trimmed down that way.
Okay.
But in terms of researching the original series, Rebel Girls, there were occasions where I would find a woman and go, you seem kind of cool, but I'm not sure about you. This is going to sound really hokey, but like with all of the women who were in this book and with all of the women who were in the online series, I'd always know when it was the right one, because I'd go through a bunch of women and be like, nah, 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 and then I'd get chills when it was the right one. And there was one woman one time who I was like, I didn't get chills, but I think I was just kind of burned out, and I was like, she'll do, right? So I started doing the research. I'm like 4 days, solid days, into researching this woman, and all of a sudden I find old letters that she'd written that were some of the most egregiously racist materials that I have ever read in my life. And I went into work and I said, sorry, I've wasted the last 4 days. I cannot possibly do this. And it was one of those, but for the time. And I was like, no, even for the time, this is very, very bad. So there were times where occasionally one of those would happen as well.
Your spidey senses served you in that in that regard.
That was, after that, I never did a non-chill one again. I got to have the chills first.
Totally. Also, I mean, because it is your thing, I mean, under KQED and now under City Lights, like, do you have a lot of say?
Oh, I had all of the say.
Yeah, so like, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
no, it was all me. Yeah. And occasionally when I'd get really stressed or I had too many things on, one of my editors would say, well, do you maybe want to like get like the intern to help you? And I'm like, no, it's mine. I was always very much like, I don't trust anyone.
But the point I guess I'm trying to make is like, if there's a question, I mean, if someone's racist, they're racist. But like, if there's even a question, you have the last call, and
100%.
you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah, and KQED has always been very cool that way. Like,
awesome.
You get if you find something that your gut says no, they go, okay. Like, our editors trust us.
I love that.
Yeah.
Softball question. 3 favorites?
He just did that because earlier I was like, I'm sick of people asking me who my favorites are.
At least I prefaced it.
You did. I appreciate you pivoted. I appreciate the pivot.
Well then, I'll go first. Maybe not 3.
Okay.
I love that the book ends, and what? Okay, I'm gonna say that this is probably not the last book you write about amazing women.
I have others in mind. Yes.
I hope it's not.
Well, there's got to be one for the ones who got cut, right?
Cut, the adult
bad
version.
Girls. Yeah, the non-middle school version.
Judy Heumann. The fact that you ended with Judy Heumann. So, I got to see Crip Camp. I never met her, but oh my fucking God. Watching that movie, learning everything there is about that movement, and then the icing on the cake for me is like, oh, and she's in Berkeley or in the East Bay. Like, there's like a thing of like, of course she's in the Bay Area. Of course.
Yeah. Of course she ended up here.
Anyway, what an amazing human. So thank you. You see what
Judy
I did there?
Heumann's an amazing human. I do it all the time. I do it all the time. Because she was an amazing human.
Yeah. And then the other 2 that really spoke to me, and we've mentioned off mic, I think, maybe that my memory sucks, so like I didn't make great notes early in the book. Loved all the essays, but by the time we got to Barbara May Cameron and Ruth Brinker, I was like, now this is coming into my life.
Right.
Like, I know Barbara through her friend Randy Burns, who's been on the podcast, and then Ruth Brinker, I have done an episode about Project Open Hand. So these are kind of some of the things that inspired me to text you that night and be like, let's do a feature, not a bonus.
Yeah. The fact that you've met Randy is like, he's a mythical creature to me. In the same way that all of these women are mythical creatures. I'm like, I can't believe he exists.
We'll have to all go get drinks sometimes.
Oh my God, I'd die.
Yeah, he's great.
I'm sure he is.
He's the coolest.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
Okay, my favorites. It changes.
Let me be more specific, actually. Like,
Okay.
Were there any that maybe you knew a little bit about, and then it's like you through the research, you're like, oh.
I mean, Judy was one of those.
Yeah.
But in terms of favorites, Ruth Beckford is one. Just because, I think I have a good handle on Black Panther's history. I think I have a good handle on the women of the Black Panther Party. And then finding out it was a woman that started the free breakfast program was like, are you kidding me? Like, why do we not have her face on T-shirts?
Again, why am I surprised, though? Women feeding people.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah.
Same as Ruth Brinker.
Yep.
All of the Ruths feeders. One of the, talking of feeding people, also Abby Fisher. Abby Fisher blew my mind, formerly enslaved person. There's not much information about her, but she came to San Francisco, basically, we think, wagon train style. But she had like 10 kids, and she was pregnant at the time, and she had to stop on the way in Missouri to give birth, and then just got back on the journey. Like, the most resilient woman in the history of the world, and so casual about everything. And then the fact that she can't read or write because she was enslaved, and someone goes, hey, you want to do a cookbook? And she's like, I can't read or write, I'll figure it out. And then just employs people to type it for her as she speaks. Like, this is genius.
I can't read or write, but goddamn can I cook.
Yeah, goddamn can I cook, and goddamn I'm still going to have a cookbook. I will figure it out.
Boom.
And
I looked
she
it
did.
up, and you can buy this book.
Yes, I have it. I own it.
I want it.
Some of those recipes are horrifying.
Sure.
Like boiling terrapins and removing tongues from heads,
Sure.
and
I already mentioned my low cholesterol diet too.
Yeah, but her pies sound amazing, and also her and her husband had an award-winning pickles and preserves company. So Abby Fisher blows my mind, and I wish we knew more about her. And one of the other things in the series is that researching these women, I get very attached to all of them, and
Sure.
it really, really sucks when you don't have an image of them.
Right.
And this is specific only to some of the black women in the series. Managed to scrape together images for everybody else, but Abby Fisher was one who was never... Sometimes you get lucky and you find a sketch in a newspaper or something. I couldn't even find that for her, even though she was winning awards for her cooking all over the Bay. So
what did your friend Adrienne Sims do for that one? Like, how did she come up?
Adrienne's been amazing. I did
Sorry, Adrienne illustrated the book.
Yes,
correct?
she did. Yes, she did. And I did not know this woman before City Lights had said, let's do a book. And I said, cool. And they said, do you have images for this? And I said, the images have been the bane of my existence since I started this series. Don't even get me started. Like, even when you can track down a family member, half the time that family member will be like, we want $500 for this one image to use on a non-profit website. So it's like, what are they going to do if there's a book? So I kept saying to City Lights, like, this isn't going to work with images. It's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be a massive headache. You're an independent publisher. We don't have this kind of budget. And so I said, I think illustrated is the way to go. And they were like, but we don't do illustrated books. So, and we had a few months of us both just looking at each other going, like someone has to figure this out. And I'm like, I can't ask anyone until you give me a budget. And they were like, it was arduous. And then it turns out that the publisher at City Lights, Elaine Katzenberger, goes to the same swimming pool as Adrienne Sims, and they struck up a conversation one day, and then Elaine went and looked at Adrienne's artwork and then brought it to me, and we both were like, holy shit, like, she's perfect for this.
Eureka, we might say, in Northern California.
Eureka, and even when I was thinking of it as an illustrated book, like, I never even envisaged what she's managed to do with it.
They're
like,
beautiful.
So thoughtful.
In a way, better than photographs.
No, definitely.
Although I do like late 19th century photographs.
Yes. Yeah.
But I can see, like, that would be a nightmare.
But so what she's done with the ones that we don't have, the women, she'll just draw something associated with the story. So for Charlotte L. Brown, who took a cable car company in San Francisco to court for segregation in 1863 and won, she's drawn an old cable car, horse-drawn cable car. For Abby Fisher, the formerly enslaved chef, I sent her one of Abby's recipes. So she's drawn out the recipe in a nice little frame. So like, she was very creative and she problem solved her way around it.
Okay, one of my least favorite things before we wrap is, and that is a superlative, least favorite is when someone asks me a favorite. Of anything, because I'm like, well, I can't. Again,
I know.
I'm a Libra. I can't choose.
Oh, my sister's a
This
Libra.
is a version of that, though. Just off the top of your head, one of the women from the book who you would want at the bar with us today, sitting here chatting, having a drink.
Pat McGuinness.
Boom.
Pat McGuinness.
Tell folks about Pat.
Pat was... And the funny thing is, the reason I would want Pat McGuinness is because she was a very specific human who you're either going to love her or you're going to hate her. She was a pro-abortion campaigner pre-Roe v. Wade. And she was very aggressive and very no-nonsense and very...
Unapologetic.
Very unapologetic, very practical. And I just would like to take Pat everywhere with me in the world where you encounter someone who's saying the dumbest shit in the world. I know that Pat would be able to shut it down with like 2 sentences immediately, and they would just go, oh, okay, and leave.
That is such a special skill.
It's a really special skill.
Some people have it, like 5 people on Earth have it.
She absolutely had it, and I've seen news footage of her just shutting down reporters. She did not give a fuck.
I love that.
So Pat, always Pat.
All right. Let's end with where people can find you, and this will come out on the 17th. Is the book going to be out yet?
The book comes, that's the release date, is March 17th.
So, starting today, how people can find the book?
People can pre-order the book anywhere you pre-order books online. Apparently, someone outside the bar told me earlier that it's already on the shelves in City Lights. If you pre-order from the City Lights website, you get a $5 discount.
We love discounts.
Yeah, but the book will be everywhere March 17th.
And then how can people find you and follow you?
I mean, if you want to.
I mean physically, no.
I don't use my last name for that very reason. They can find me on Instagram at Ray_Alexandra_writing. I was not having a very creative day the day I came up with that account. I'm not on X anymore for obvious reasons, and I'm on Threads. I think it's Ray_Alexandra3.
I love that you have to, yeah.
Don't know. Because
we'll
I'm from the 90s. See that full circle?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anything else before we close down? Do you want to talk about any like, about San Francisco, about the Bay Area, about your time here, about the book?
I would say that recently, every time I cross the Bay Bridge and every single billboard that I see is not just about AI, but it's written in a language specifically designed to shut out the rest of the world and make it as inhuman as possible, scares the living shit out of me. I would say that. I think about it constantly. They're actively trying to shut us out before they take all of our jobs and kill us.
That was Ray Alexandra. We recorded this episode at Vesuvio in North Beach. On the next episode of Storied San Francisco, meet and get to know food writer and member of the Coyote Media Co-op, Soleil Ho. Episode 15 drops Tuesday, March 31st, wherever you get podcasts. Music for Storied San Francisco was produced, performed, and curated by Otis McDonald. Our contributing producer is Aaron Lim of Bitch Talk Podcast. And the show is produced and hosted by me, Jeff Hunt. Now in our 8th season, we have more than 300 episodes available on our website, storiedsf.com, or wherever you listen to podcasts. If possible, please rate and review the show. I want to know what you think. Find us on Substack for our monthly newsletter and more. And follow us on Instagram and Threads at storiedsf. Reach us there or email us at storiedsf@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Try to stay hopeful in these dark times. Keep being wacky, creative, and kind out there. And we'll see you next time on Storied San Francisco. We acknowledge and respect the first humans of the unceded land we call San Francisco, the Ramaytush Ohlone. We condemn the genocide of these and other tribes across the Western Hemisphere. We honor their legacy and history, and we support rematriation and sovereignty efforts.